Fair. Good afternoon, peace and freedom. Mimi, welcome. My squeaky chair. How is everyone today? Got a late start because today is 9/11, and I don't know about you, but I was watching the tributes that were taking place today, and because it is such a very solemn occasion, it's 20 years since 9/11 first took place. I wanted to allow people who wanted to watch it a chance to watch it. I know I was watching it. 20 years ago today, I was concerned because my daughter was posited right down the street from the site. She was going to NYU, and her dorm was right down the road. And so we were spending the day trying to figure out how she was going to get home from the dorm because NYU basically told folks, you got to go. They got them out of the dorms and told them you can go home. Well, the question was how they were going to get home. And, she had friends that lived out of state, and the phone connections were spotty that day. And so they had some phones that were set up in gymnasiums and other places. And so she called me and she said, Mommy, I have friends who live far. Can I bring some home? I said, snatch up as many as you can. And so we had a plan set up for her to get a ferry into Jersey. At the time, we were living in Allentown, PA. And then one of her friends went and picked her up and took her to my mother's house in Roselle. And then from there, she got a ride to the bus station to get her to Allentown. And late that night, she arrived with one of her friends on the doorstep, and both of them were shell shocked because they had walked through all of the debris. And she said, Mommy, it looked like a war zone. There were people who were walking around with all of the debris from the building. She said people were bleeding and just walking around just in shock. And things were all over the place. And they were in shock for a number of days. I still have the thank you card that her friend sent me. It was comedic artwork, a little card like this, and I just moved it the other day on a new location on the wall. But I'm always very grateful for the fact that they arrived home, and because I'm aware of the fact that there were many who did not, and so let us remember to keep those families in prayer who still are emotionally suffering. And there's still trauma from those who still survived. Trauma and lingering health effects. Indeed. Yes. So, all right. We have an abbreviated new format, even more abbreviated than last time. Well, it was sort of abbreviated, sort of. But yes, we're continuing to grow. And welcome, family. How is the word for family? Nini, how? Welcome, family. Tef, I see you. Dwau. Cannabis Maximus, I see you too. And Nini. And to the Chaffers, I see you. Shana Tyree Huddleston, it's been a little minute. I see you. Kim Beats, yeah, I need to talk to you about some new beats. Okay. And so listen, this is how we're going to start. We're going to start with our water prayer that is on the Shenu page. If you pay changes to our website, and working to find time to make the changes that have been long overlooked. And so our Saturday opening will be with the water prayer. Let me open that up. I defined a bass guitar for the opening today because today we're talking about how to speak with your soul. And it's really easy to speak to the soul when you've got some good bass going. A great bass line hooks you right into your soul. We'll be talking about that. Now, how did that happen? Hold on. Ah, that's why I switched.org. I have so many domains. Sometimes you forget what the address is. Okay, so if you go to shenuashram.org, and if you go to, let's see, where it says sacred, you get into the site, and then you'll see the links up top where it says sacred ceremony, and then there's a menu above sacred ceremony, and you'll see where it says Shenu water prayer. So here's how the order will go. Yeah, that ding dong is me. Every time somebody goes on the site, then I get the notification. And listen, I'm changing my phone um, message notification so that when people call me, they'll get this message that will say, if you call me on Saturday, anytime between the hours of such and such and such and such, I will not answer because I am in sacred ceremony, you know. So I'm not going to be answering the phone anymore unless it's some kind of an emergency. I mean, major emergency. Just so you all know. Somebody else on the site. Let me turn my sound down. Give me thanks, give me thanks, give me thanks. And I'm very grateful that the garbage men took all of my trash from the basement that got ruined. I had to go out and beg them, please take my stuff because they didn't get it on the day they were supposed to, and they did that to a lot of people. And so then garbage day came, I called the city and they said, oh, don't worry, they'll get it on garbage day. And I went out there and I was like shoving things into the garbage cans, hopefully, hoping that they were going to take this, at least some of this stuff. And my neighbor across the street said, trust me, I have lived here on this street for a lot of years. They ain't gonna take all that stuff, okay? Because I know the garbage men here. So when I heard them finally coming, because they usually come in the morning or the night before. So now it was 5 o'clock. I was actually on a business call and I said, I have to call you back. And I did my little run hobble because my leg is still healing, right? I did my run hobble from the back of my house all the way outside to the front. And I saw them sorting out, deciding what they would take. I said, please don't make me get on my leg, down on my knee and beg you, please take all my garbage. This is all of my trash that got ruined in the basement, please. And so they looked at each other and they looked at me and they said, okay, ma'am. And they took all of it. And when I say that the almost the entire front of the house was full of all the wet trash from the flooded basement, I mean it was. And so mercifully they took it. It was so renewing, taking all this stuff. And I have to say, because our oracle reading for this year was the Hekek box or the Henen box upside down. So this has to do with opening your mind and letting some stuff go, or letting a lot of stuff go. And even with the stuff that I had in the basement that was already in containers, these big plastic containers, I had 8 big plastic containers that I purchased a couple of years last year, with the things that were dear to me and that belonged to my children. And how I got stuck hauling around the stuff that belongs to my kids that I've had since they went to college, and this is stuff that belongs to them from, I don't know how I became the caretaker for their stuff, but anyway, I actually started thinking to myself, do I need all that stuff in those containers? I don't think so. I have 2, maybe even 3 bins full of collectible dolls, and like I was saying to my therapist the other day, I don't believe I need them anymore. So I'll be getting rid of my collectible dolls. Most of them. I have to look through some of the other stuff too and decide. So, okay. Okay, so y'all, we're going to be doing the Shoer Uhem Ankh, the Living Waters Prayer that I wrote in 2019. All right. From there, we'll be going to our prayer that we generally do, that is on page 76, the water prayer. And then from there, we'll be going right into the Saturday prayer. Okay? That's how it's going to go. Then we'll be doing our ancestral prayer. All right? And then we'll be doing the 42. And then we'll be doing the community report. And then we'll be doing Anju, and then the message. Okay? And then benediction. Okay. All right. That's the order. All right. All right. Let's go on and protect ourselves. Sadak. Nifa. Sadak. Nifa. Sadak. Nifa. You are encased in a beautiful orb of light. Beautifully protected. Beautifully protected. Clean, pure, from the top of your head to the soles of your feet and back up to the tummy. You are cleansed, you're purified, you are of light and of love. Releasing all that is negative, letting it go down through the floorboards. Releasing, releasing, releasing. Now bringing up pure, fresh energy, and then sealing it off with pure, fresh energy. Bringing it up. You are full of light and love, and you feel yourself vibrating with love. Yes. as we go to the water prayer on the website. No, this is call and response. Let me turn the music down just a little. And the response is, I pray for the waters of the world. I pray for the waters of the world. Let the living waters heal us all. I pray for the waters of the world. Beset and Besu, I drink from your nurturing jar. Open the way. I pray for the waters of the world. Knit, may the resurrection of this water temple help us to always uplift, protect, and remember the tributaries of the tree of life as divine source. I pray for the waters of the world. Wajet, may the resurrection of this water temple help us to remember to pray for the water and the water healers within and without. I pray for the waters of the world. Wajur, may the resurrection of this water temple help us to pray healing transmutation for the pain absorbed by the global waters. May the water spirits heal. I pray for the waters of the world. Nechemitawit, may the resurrection of this water temple help all sincere seekers who have been brought great pain by abusers, users, and takers be brought solace, justice, and healing restoration. I pray for the waters of the world. Shedi, may the restoration of this water temple help us look to you for deliverance when we need to be covered. I pray for the waters of this world. Pekit, may the restoration of this water temple help us to respect the storms of life. I pray for the waters of the world. Newt, may the restoration of this water temple help all who have been expected to merely manifest without having anyone to give back. May they receive restoration. I pray for the waters of the world. Hepi, may the resurrection of this water temple bring the desire for people to humbly help one another without judgment, sharing abundantly with open hearts, embracing the divine mystery and joy of loving the journey. I pray for the waters of the world. Kenum, may the resurrection of this water temple rehydrate the souls of our people. I pray for the waters of the world. Heket, may the resurrection of this water temple restore the minds of your people. I pray for the waters of the world. Satet, may the resurrection of this water temple bring forth your generous rains so no one may starve and water is purified. I pray for the waters of the world. Anket, may the resurrection of this water temple bring the distribution of wealth to your people, and no one may starve. I pray for the waters of the world. Chatmeit, may the resurrection of this water temple heal hearts and minds, and bring goodness, beauty, and compassion, and abundant fish, so that people will share and no one will starve. I pray for the waters of the world. Anjeti, may the resurrection of this water temple help us yield to your shepherd's crook and flail, so that we may be led to lush lands and safe tables. I pray for the waters of the world. Iset, may the resurrection of this water temple help us to know that As water influences and enhances everything it touches, we too have the potential to change the world wherever we may go. May your throne of grace bring us mercy. I pray for the waters of the world. Nevertheless, may the resurrection of this water temple help us to know that we are sacred vessels. Whatever we choose to fill our chalices with, are we are all our potential lessons for our own mastery. Depending on our perspectives, it is important to learn when our chalices are truly clean and work to not delude ourselves into believing that filth is clarity. I pray for the waters of the world. Living waters, Wuchem Ankh, you give to us, we have taken, we pour back into you. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. Duawu. Page 76. Webni, Wujani, Hekni, Jedni, Anuk Sedemen, Duawu. En, en, en. Anuk Neferet, Anuk, Anuk, Anuk Neferet, Anuk Neferet, Anuk Neferet. Wow. Anuk Web. Webni, Webni, Webni. Wow. Drink. Saturday prayer. And I'm going to say you don't have to post the names of your ancestors going forward just for your own protection. I'm going to ask you to say them out loud where you are when we get to that portion. But for right now, we're doing our Saturday prayer. Wepwat Dua Tebu. Opening of the way reclamation prayer. Yun Harechenu Tepi Yawi Yaku. Duau im Erit Nebechenu. Seteni Echenu. Enechenu. Semni. Yun Watni. Tayer Iset Shir Bak Seket Sekawuches. Anuk Tepi Yawi Yaku Enanu. Imem Yaku Shespetni. I Eshem Ni Em Yama. Yun Herech Seshat. Yama de Sher Ank. Yuni Yadechpet. Yun Herech Akel. Yuni Besut Emta. Yun Herech Beset. Yun Besuech Bekat. Yun Herech Besu. Bakni Besu Em Besu Bekat. Yun Herech Wunut. Uni watwech, unut emta. Yun cherek epwat, wep wadu. Yun cherek ilpu. Hekni em wadu. Heki heket eni. Wuhe hati. Anuk wuhem ank. Anuk wajet. Eni wajet waj nefer. Yun cherek jehuti. Ekni rekek em hetep. Nejni sheshmicher. Shedni yun shetawut em yu. Anechni nechemetewit. Nechemni. Wuhem. Anechni nechemetawit. Nechemni. Wuhem. Anechni nechemetewit. Nechemni. Wuhem. Anechni nechemetewit. Nechemni. Nechtitni. Nechemnitni neferet. Netreni. Wuhem. Nechtitni. Nechemitni neferet. Netreni. Wuhem. Nechtitni. Nechemitni neferet. Netreni. Wuserit. Herit en hemut hejanu. Sejem nechemitni. Wuhem. Wuserit. Herit en hemut hejanu. Sejem nechemitni. Wuhem. Wuserit. Herit en hemut hejanu. Sejem nechemitni. Wuhem. Wuserit. Herit en hemut hejanu. Sejem nechemitni. Shedani shed em shebeshniek. Shedi ben em merkabodudek. Wuhem. Shedadi shed em shebeshniek. Shedi ben em merkabodudek. Wuhem. Shedani shed em shebeshniek. Shedi ben em merkabodudek. Wuhem. Shedani shed em shebeshniek. Shedi ben em merkabodudek. Orekni shedu mut nefret hatmeit. Merit em mesu nebu. Erdani menet mehit. Dini ech ibi. Anuk mech em ech. Meni nehat. Meni hatni nechem. Nefret meni nefret. Keni. Merwin. Abdu I intu pu inwech. Shespi. Taneb ancheti pezayuni. Anuk entinensep. Jebek bani. Nekuni em hekek I nekekek. Hekni em maed zayunefer. Yehi asir ertep isetek yamet. Semi meni unefer uja orek I nekhat. Sema katni sema u katni sema. Anuk we and we. Anuk nehes. Yehi iset ertep iset yamet. Webi iset em remitech. Eri anech katni. Eri anech hauni. Semi nebet. Eri maet. Dinisha isha em nebet. Dinisha isha em katni ibni ibani. Keni yahu ches. Sema katni sema nen. Sema katni sema u katni sema. Setekani setesh en sedekhen wiek. Dini eksha isha. Sema katni sema nen. Sema katni sema u katni sema. Simai nu herek. Hepi inanu tep. Uhem em semai tawi I sema. Shamesh I kai rek. Anuk uhem ank em merwek. Meni ikani em merwek. Web anket merwech. yun irwech yu. Sima katni semau. Katni sema. Anuk ek yai aku. Anuk we echanu. Anuk tepyu yawi aku enanu. Her Yahweh en ik yun wehini. Erdani kanum juju kapesh. Zatni zatit. Rudni em zunech. Debani nit em hek. Heb jaser ech. Erdani zemat zemaut zep. Seserni sebek idudu. Urekni taort. Yatni her ipet. Tefeni tefech. Tefeni tefnut em tefech. Tefeni ech. Eri mekwort anki mek. Erdani nunhu. Keper naunet anki em tepi nefer. Nepi nutech ishet emni. Erdani heteru merkai em herwech. Merni ches. Sekni sarkit sarkwech. Imakni wet I Quebec. Shaesha ches. Erdani kebut Quebec. Segenen shespet ni. Anuk kieru uhem. Erdani kebut Quebec. Segeni shespet ni. Anuk kieru uhem. Erdani kebut Quebec. Segenen shespet ni. Anuk kieru uhem. Erdani kebut Quebec. Segenen shespetniek. Anuk geru. Pekarni pekit. Anuk pek. Uhem. Pekarni pekit. Anuk pek. Uhem. Pekarni pekit. Anuk pek. Wau. Nechurt. Necheru. Necher necheru. Necherni. Necher nechri. Yat yu nebu. Nebu kai. Nechur hek. Anuk heru. Yatni. Anuk tepi yawi. Yaku enanu. Erdani embukai. Erdanu embukai. Amen. Amen. Divine infinite forces of love and light, we thank you so much for another day. We thank you for your infinite grace and love, for the lessons and the blessings. We thank you so much for all that we have experienced that has brought us all of the lessons and the blessings. We thank you for one another. We thank you for the Shenu family. We thank you for infinite insights. For all who have experienced loss in this year, we ask you to bring comfort to all of us, all of the families that have experienced loss. For all who have experienced pain, we ask you to bring comfort. For all who have inflicted pain, we ask that you bring ma'at. We ask you to continue to teach us not to stand in the way of justice for those who need to learn the lessons of justice. We ask you to apply mercy only where it is needed. For those who have inflicted pain and have not received their just due yet, we ask you to be the righteous vindicators in the name of justice, in the name of ma'at. We ask for you to be all in ma'at that you are. And not that we sit back and wring our hands waiting for justice, but that you teach us mercy and compassion, knowing that the hands of ma'at dispenses in the way that she must, but also that we have hearts of love and understanding so that we are not embroiled in silliness and immaturity, but that we are in that we are sitting and standing in maturity and not immaturity, and that we are deepened by all that we see and that we know, and we thank you. Strengthen us, Heket, Heketit, and also Sureket, through this pandemic. Continue to protect us and the children and the teachers as they make their ways back to school, and continue to firm us up and bring wisdom to all as they conduct themselves in accordance with the ways of Sha'isha, respect in this world. Duau, duau, duau. Bring abundance to those of us who honor the ways of Ma'at and continue through these lessons of the soul to deepen our wisdom and our understanding of how we should conduct ourselves through higher soul and also higher spirit. Duau. Amen. Amen. Okay, how's everybody? How's everyone? All right, let us recite our 42. Oh, wait, let's do our ancestors, and then let us do the 42. Thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Everyone all right? Imcherutu tegasnu duau. Erchenuku erjnuku. Sechnu kebu ishkanu. Kernu renuachenu. As I recite the names of my ancestors. Simmons, Blackman, Simmons, Blackman, Exum, Simmons, Anderson, Artis, Ortiz, Whitley, Lloyd, Yates, McLaughlin, Myers, Murray, Mosley, Simon, Stuckey, Clyburn, Mayfield. Give thanks and praise. Mernu Hetapu, Mernu Sharaim, Ednu Mary Shai Shahatua. Also giving honor to Donald Payne and to Wanda Payne, honoring all of my spiritual teachers. Menu Hetaku, Menu Sharaim, Erdu Mary Shai Shahatua. Yunurech Yaku Shepsu, Erdu Rek Hek Hekau, Mer Nefret Hetapu, Rex Hekabit Anu. Anu Kutin Shepsu Nebu. Sekinu, 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 Duau, Duau, Duau. Eng, Eng, Eng. All right. Flower of love, welcome. Give thanks. All right. Oh, love from the UK. Give thanks. Giving thanks. I'm glad that you are here. Give thanks. Time for the 42. Yun hedach ma'it, tuwawu ma'it, spenu ma'it, hekech emenu pen. I will not do wrong. I will not steal. I will not immerse myself in depression. I will not violate another being physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. I will not hoard, disrespect, abuse, or misuse the land, nor deprive my loved ones and community of a rightful inheritance. I will not waste precious food. I will not waste precious water. I will not jealously desire to obtain that which is not mine. I will not eavesdrop or pry into matters outside the dictate of nature. I will not defile or debase my purity. I will not abuse my sexuality. I will not engage in infidelity with another man or woman's mate. I will not engage in sexual fantasies or sexual acts with a child. I will not cause needless terror. I will not be arrogant and ego centered. I will not act with selfish, destructive aggression. I will not cultivate a quarrelsome nature. I will not take a life outside of my age, nor disrespect the life force. I will not cause the shedding of tears. I will not sow seeds of regret. I will not mistreat children and will give proper guidance and protection. I will not mistreat animals and will give proper respect. I will not be vengeful and angry except for a just cause within my eight. I will not be easily incited to action or contention. I will not uphold an untruth on or against someone else's behalf. I will not lie. I will not raise my voice unnecessarily. I will not speak maliciously against another being. I will not exaggerate. I will not talk too much. I will not act with sneaky manipulation. I will not be impatient or judge in haste. I will not entertain impure thoughts. I will not wish evil upon another being, but will not stand in the way of karmic law and will not and will not um, um, invoke. I can't read my writing here. Will not I will not stand in the way of karmic law and will invoke ma'at. I will not perform negative energy work, but will rightfully protect and defend myself in ma'at. I will not turn my ears away from words of truth. I will not desecrate holy places. I will not desecrate holy traditions. I will not steal from or neglect giving to the temple offerings. I will not rob from the deceased. I will not betray my venerated ancestors. I will not blaspheme the Most High in the Chur. 10 virtues of ma'at. I have control of thoughts. I have control of actions. I have devotion of purpose. I have faith in the ability of my teachers to teach me the truth. I have faith in myself to assimilate the truth. I have faith in myself to wield the truth. I am free from resentment under the experience of persecution. I am free from resentment under the experience of wrong. I cultivate the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. I cultivate the ability to distinguish between the real and the unreal. Dwama 8 in Madu Neferet. Give thanks. Okay. Give thanks and praise. Okay. It is time for community report by Sinette Sarah B. Bastis. Bring the music down just a moment. Can everyone hear me okay? How's the balance? I was going to put my lapel mic on. There's a word for that. It's failing me at the moment. Only been in this business my whole life. You hear me? Thank you, Ken Beats. Sometimes I listen afterwards and I'm like, you know what, the sound can be better. So I took out all of my mics. I was playing with them last night, and then ultimately I was like, you know what? I'll just have to play with it another time. My lavalier. Yeah, I took out all my different lavaliers. Took out my handhelds, headsets. Kadrine, welcome. I go see my new neurologist on Monday, and then finally go to see the osteo guy on the end of the month. I said, y'all couldn't get me in any sooner than that. I'll be back to dancing by then. And so here we have our community report by Sinette Barrett, by Sinette Sarah B. Bastis. Give thanks.
Shalom to all. This is Sarah with the Shenu Living Waters Community Report, where the Reverend Dr. Queen Mother Imakhu, Mutusut Imakhu, is head minister and high priestess. Now on news. A Ugandan martial arts enthusiast who learned from Kung Fu masters in China aims to spread Kung Fu skills and culture in his home country and take it around Africa, starting with his own daughter. Kung Fu, a primarily unarmed martial art, has gained popularity in various parts of the world. A warm-up exercise for Hasiva Nakirija was in progress. At only 5 years of age, the little girl was already able to try out new Kung Fu techniques. Kung Fu helps me in self-defense and also to keep my body physically fit, she said. Nakirija wanted to become an actress, but to achieve her goal, she needs more time and techniques. If she makes it into the movie industry, she'll be following in the footsteps of her father, Mansour Sejemba, a Kung Fu specialist and actor. Kung Fu has helped us a lot in Uganda's film industry, more especially in movies. I am a film actor too. She also dreams of becoming a movie star, Sejemba said. Under her father's guidance, Nakirija has been trained in the Gong Li Kwan force and skill boxing, a practical style of martial arts that strengthens both physical strength and health-preserving methods. In 2017, Sejemba visited the Shaolin Temple, a renowned Chinese temple recognized as the birthplace of Chan Buddhism and the cradle of the Shaolin Kung Fu in central China's Henan province, and was made a Kung Fu ambassador for Africa. Then the COVID-19 pandemic interrupted his training program, but that also gave him time to spread the Kung Fu techniques and disciplines he learnt to a much larger audience. These 2 years have been so challenging because we've had the COVID-19 pandemic. It has affected our training sessions, Sejemba said. Mansour, however, has so far trained 24 people in Kampala, capital of Uganda, and his dream is to boost Kung Fu's popularity across the country as well as the entire African continent. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting. Thank you very much. Shireen. Goodbye.
Okay, I almost made it back in time. Give thanks and praise for that report. I knocked over. I'm listening to it. I was like, that's such a wonderful report. I knocked over my Huey Cadest. Thank you, Sinette Sarah. Stuff happens. If I had been able to run, I would have made it back and you all would have never known. Okay. Michelle Sawyer, how are you? Michelle Sawyer Mickey, how are you? Okay, so I hope she ends up becoming an actress. And I'll have to do some, I'll have to remember to look her up to see, uh, hopefully see some video of her in action doing Kung Fu. All right, so today's NG report. Yes, here it is. Because I had this up, I was all ready to come in, and then I was just like, oh, what the? Okay, I shared this with you last year. And the reason this is the N2 report for today, the wellness report for today, is because we have another spike with the COVID, and so people are getting kind of sloppy again. Listen, don't get sloppy. Last year I gave you this whole battery of wellness tips for what to do to stay on top of things so that your lungs don't get weak. And so pulmonaria or lung warts is excellent to keep your lungs strengthened and also to clean them out if you feel that they're starting to get sort of my skirt is too hot. If you feel that if they're too if you're getting mucusy, okay. So this makes a really lovely tea. I have some sitting in my fridge right now. So uh, and it's not hard to make. Get yourself one of those tea strainers. I should have brought that out with me too. I have a really cute tea strainer. It's like a little tumbler kind of a thing, you know. And um, this is just a quick reminder to you: don't get sloppy. Do all of the things that you need to do to keep your lungs nice and strong and clear. We're probably going to end up going into another lockdown because let me tell you what's happening right now. What they're doing right now is they're allowing the merchants to get as much money as they can. And yeah, right now, what you're witnessing is a whole lot of super spreader events so that the merchants can be happy, so they can make their money before we go back into lockdown. So be prudent in where you go and what events you choose to go to. Keep your masks on and make sure that you do all the stuff that you did before to keep your lungs strong. And then when you come back inside, go back to the whole thing that you were doing before about making sure that you take your clothes off, wash your clothes, put some fresh clothes on, get in the daggone shower, okay? And the whole routine. Stay on top of it, all right? Don't be silly because, the numbers are spiking up. It's not at the front end of the news like it used to be, but just be careful, okay? Just a reminder. I've got all my stuff ready. My physician has already been on top of it. She's Haitian. My therapist is she's a Haitian woman that's like around my age. My therapist is a young Haitian woman. Okay, I'm part Haitian in my bloodline. Okay, I'm covered. All right, so they know about the holistic stuff. So anyway, my doctor, when things started kind of spiking, she told me, she said, listen, for the next 3 months, I want you taking vitamin C. I want you because you're a little anemic too. I want you taking iron tablets. I was like, why? She said, you're going to take them, okay? Just take them. Don't argue with me. Just take them, all right? And I said, I called her one day. I said, why do you have me taking this stuff? She said, because of COVID, okay? So Anyway, I said, okay. And she said, you're 61, okay? And so it's because of COVID. So I said, okay. So she said, just to stay on the safe side. Yeah. So Lisa, how are you? It's good to see you. So anyway, all right. Um, where are we here? It's time for for Medu. It's time for the word. So we've had these lessons with Setne and his. Yes, Kim Beat says, shout out to our yes, Aitan. Yes, Ait, because it's really Haiti. It's not Haiti, it's Haiti. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why I'm getting all my dental work done again. I'm on it. The last dentist I had was shilly-shallying around, for months. So I was like, I ain't dealing with y'all no more, okay? All right, because I have some stuff I need to have done that they didn't fix last year. I had an infection that they didn't take care of. So I was like, look, I got, because if they do lockdown, that means they're locking down the dental stuff too. I'm not getting caught out there. Get all your stuff handled before we're locked in. Be wise. Okay. So, the lessons of Setne, I have really. Athena, how are you? Ah, the flag. Yes, there's the flag of Haiti. So, yeah. So and see and listen, whatever your countries of origin are, I'm so glad that I found out because I already knew about the fact that I'm Gullah Geechee. I knew that from my father's side. Okay. But knowing now also from a spiritual standpoint too, that we're Dominican also, and that we're Borican, Boriqueño, Boriqueña. That means that those herbs and foods will speak to me, and also spiritually that will speak to me. So all of that. Okay. All right. Haiti, PRDR. So, Setne. Wow, what a lesson he got. So, all right. So we were talking about when you want too much, and we were talking about the whole thing about how how he even though he was warned, he gets warned by these ghosts. Listen, don't make the mistake. I mean that Nannefer Kapata made. He was fine. He was just fine. But then this priest who saw he was absolutely happy with his life had to just throw this big old pearl out there to him and wreck the curve. Oh, you can't be that happy. Let me tempt you with this. Because I'm not happy seeing how happy you are. So let me just mess your life up. And now he becomes obsessed and he has to go after this magic book that belongs to Jehuti. Why? So he could get all the knowledge of a god. What's it going to do to you? Wow. Now your head is blown. You got all this knowledge of a god, and now the god's mad at you, you know? And the god ends up killing you. You, your family, everything that you had that was good to you now is gone. You're a ghost. And now along comes Setne, and because he hears about this magic book, he wanders into this tomb and he shouldn't have been. All y'all going and disturbing these tombs over in Kemet, y'all need to stop and think. I've known so many people who've gone over there, and then how do their lives end up? So anyway, all right. So now look. I want to break down this little bit of the story to you too. As we go further into the lessons of the soul and how you should dialogue with your soul, because we're going to talk about the book of the dialogue with the soul. See, now look. In the portion after Setne ends up winning the book, peace and blessings, Sudheru. After Setne ends up winning the book from Nanefer Kapata, and Nanefer Kapata says to him, "You'll be back." And so now he's got the book. Oh, he's the man, right? So you would think that would be enough. Oh no. He sees Tabubu, and she is getting ready to go into the temple of Ptah. She's getting ready to go and worship, and she's got all of her entourage following behind her. Listen, he should have respected the fact that she was getting ready to go and worship, but oh no. He's gonna pull her out of that line to go and hit it with her. He's gonna go and speak some stuff to her that he had no business speaking. He's gonna disrespect the fact that she's a priestess. You know, he does the whispering down the lane thing, getting the message through her entourage. Let her know I want her, and I will pay her X amount of money just to have her. Wait a minute, you've already been sacrilegious because she's getting ready to go in and worship at the shrine of Ptah, okay? And you pulling her out so you can get some. Now, she starts messing with his head because she lets him know basically, all right, you've already disrespected me, but all right, we're going to carry this out, all right? So if you're going to have me, we're going to go to my place, right? And we're going to do this right. And it's going to be in my surroundings, in my lush surroundings, okay? Now, see, the fact that he was shocked when he gets there because he's got to get this boat. See, here's the other thing, right? Because he not only, he pulls her out of the shrine or the temple where she was getting ready to go in and worship in order to get some. So he's disrespecting the whole worship process. She's going in to be holy, right? It's going to pull her out. And so she's like, okay, so now I'm going to take you out of you taking me out of my comfort zone in terms of going to worship. Now I'm going to really pull you out of your comfort zone. So he's got to get on this boat. And when he arrives at the place that he's told to go to, he has the nerve to be shocked at how completely grand and glorious her spot is. So she already establishes, yo, listen, I am not a low person. She kept saying, I'm not a low person. Well, he evidently thought that she was not as grand and glorious as she was. But then what further insulted her when the boat pulls up and he's like, whose place is this? It's Tabubu's place. Yo, what? So insult upon insult. Lola, how are you? It's good to see you again. Sister Karen, how are you? Insult upon insult upon insult. Now, I told you last week when it comes to the soul. I'm good, Lola. Thank you. It's good to see you. Insult upon insult upon insult. When it comes to this situation. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to share the scripture for this week. Hold on. My bad. Let me set this up. The last scripture in the dialogue with the soul. Let me have a vanity moment here. Does my face look thinner to you? Because these glasses just seem enormous on my face. I mean, I've had these for a while, and I've got them to I got them to look a little big, But I mean, these just look like. This is not so much a vanity moment. This is just like a. I feel like I look like Grady's girlfriend in San Francisco. So this isn't so much a vanity moment. Okay. Okay. And so in the last passage here on in the book of the dialogue with the soul, it says, and my soul said to me, cast your complaints aside, my comrade and brother. Make offerings on the sacrificial fire and cling to life, as I have said. Love me, your soul, here. Set aside thoughts of death and desire death only when your body joins the earth. Then I will alight on you after you have become truly weary, and we shall dwell together forever. Thank you, Ken Beats. Oh, you like that, Sudaru? Grady's girlfriend. Yes, okay, so just to set that up. So, and before I go further with tying this into the situation with Setne. So, in this book of the dialogue with the soul, this is this predates the the book of Job. I'm going to read you what it says here in the Hosea, in the introduction. This section is called the Books of Contemplation. These books contain 3 forms of contemplation: lamentations, prophetic assertions, and meditations on death and eternal life. These books reflect a skepticism, sadness, and contemplative posture born of the collapse and transformation of social order and resultant chaos and loss of cultural center this brought. The books of Ka Keper Rasaneb and Ipawer represent lamentations on the low state to which the society had fallen. As Kakeper Ra Seneb says, Ma'at, righteousness and order had been cast out, and Isfet, evil and chaos, is in the council hall. The way of God is violated, and his commandments are brushed aside. The land is in turmoil, and there is mourning everywhere. So I just want to edit this so I can share this on one of my pages very quickly. And that is, yes, there. Okay. Okay. And so, Ipawer laments the reversal of the social order when outsiders have destroyed the internal harmony and stability of ancient Egyptian society. And behold now, he says, how greatly the people have changed. The robbers have become rich, and the honorable person a thief. The foreigners have imposed new ways and created new relations, and the righteous Egyptian of yesterday cannot be found anywhere. In the book of Dialogue with the Soul, a man expresses despair at the changed social circumstances and contemplates death. Excuse me. This is the earliest known literary example of a soul in turmoil, confronting unjust suffering and raising the question of why and what is to be done. It predates the Hebrew book of Job, approximately 1,500 years, which represents a similar concern and question, and to which it has been compared. The Book of Songs focuses meditation on the inevitability of death and the need to enjoy life now. Excuse me. For the most part, and suggests a posture that is expressed later in the Hebrew book of Ecclesiastes. The last song, however, focuses on praise of learning and the learned and argues it is learned achievement, which causes one's name to last forever. Lord, I sound like Gwen Verdon. Finally, the book of Nefertiti offers prophecy of the coming of a righteous Savior King, a Messiah to reestablish Ma'at and cast out Isfet. This is the oldest and clearest messianic projection and antedates the Hebrew model of David by more than 1,000 years. At least one traditional Egyptologist has argued that such messianism was evident in Ipawer, which is at least 500 years earlier. But the passage he quotes to support it seems more an appeal to God than to the Pharaoh. However, there are other passages in Ipawer that suggest such a messianic hope and projection. Also, a note of interest in this prophecy is the prediction of a Messiah king born of a mother of Nubia, which was the source of repeated Egyptian Renaissance after periods of degeneration and despair. So what we're focusing on here is the book of the Dialogue with the Soul. And then I want to tie it back into Setne, the lessons that we've had of Setne, and his greed, his wanting too much, his going too far, his not realizing his place, and what happens to him, and his disgrace and tying it back into another passage here in another book. And how we must have a talk with the soul. And we talked last week about the Bait bird, and how the Bait bird is the protector of the soul, and how we come here with our personality within the soul, and we're supposed to record the life experiences that we go through, and then how we're supposed to end up going back to the Ka, the spirit, and how sometimes we lose our way and we have the lost soul experience. And we get so far out there sometimes that we completely forget about our spiritual selves. And just like with Setne, completely, you get too far away from home. You get too far away from who you are. You forget about what your journey is. You forget about what you're supposed to be doing. And you find yourself completely humiliated, laying out there in the street naked with a box on your member. And so, but then you also have experiences where you find that you are in just such complete lament because you don't even know what in the world is going on. In fact, let me, before I read this portion, let me read what is here and here it is. In the book of Ankh Shashanki, who ends up having a dreadful experience because he ends up getting imprisoned because of betrayal. And he is in prison trying to figure out what the heck happened. And he ends up realizing that he ended up talking to the wrong person, someone that he thought was reputable. But then he realized, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. In fact, everything right now is backwards. And why? Because of a bunch of disreputable people. And I'm definitely in the wrong place at the wrong time. And why is that? He says, once he realizes, okay, I'm stuck here. And he asks to have some potsherds, some broken pieces of pottery brought to him to record his experience, because he's not going to be able to have some papyri brought to him, which was considered precious, especially if you are a scribe, especially if you had the ability to write, which meant that you were of the upper classes. It meant that you were educated. It meant that you were going to be able to, usually if you were a scribe, not only were you going to be able to write for yourself, but you were able to ask for someone to come and write for you. But to be able to write for yourself meant that you had control of your own dialogue and you could control your own story. But he was not able to say, I need some paper, bring me some paper. Basically, because he was in prison, he basically said, listen, just please bring me something to write on. And see, if you were a student scribe, then you were just brought some just basic broken pieces of pottery to practice on. So he was like, just bring me some broken pottery. Okay, please, just so I have something to record what is going on with me, so it could be left behind for my children, so that they know why I'm stuck in this prison. So he was brought some broken pieces of pottery. Here you go. Here, okay. And so then, see, also if you were a scribe, then you had pieces of stalks that you chewed the ends of in order to use to as paintbrushes, and you had to kind of make your own paint, if you will. Okay, you know, that was a whole other skill set. All right. So he started writing his thoughts, and the first thing he started writing was how the heck he ended up in prison. And his first determination was God was mad at the country. And when God is mad at the country, he just lets things run amok. And things become isfet, which means upside down, chaos, chaotic evil. You know, basically to teach the land a lesson so that people can see how things have gotten out of balance. And he realized he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And he figured that he must not have been in balance because he ended up there. So when you are not spiritually in balance and you ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time, you got to check yourself because you have not been keeping up with your proper prayers and rituals to keep yourself in alignment. Okay? Because when you it's like ending up in Oz, you know? You weren't paying attention. Therefore, you ended up being Dorothy in this house that got flung afar. Okay? And I'm sure a lot of us can relate to these experiences where we ended up living in places where you were just like, how the heck did I get here? You know, kind of like in how many of us remember the show Green Acres? Oliver Wendell Douglas. He's a lawyer, although now he decided to move. He decided to leave the big city, and he takes his wife Imakhu. You know, she didn't want to leave. She didn't want to live on no daggone farm. He wanted to live off the land, right? And he buys this farm in Hooterville, and he does not have any preparation for living in this farm. But beyond that, he truly is a fish out of water. Everybody in Hooterville is daggone nuts, okay? Although on the show Petticoat Junction, everybody's fine, you know, because they're used to living together. Everything's all nice, right? But you could see that on his show on Green Acres, they're to him, everybody's wacko, and they're treating him like he's wacko, right? All those fish out of water shows, right? What was it? Bob Newhart, like the Bob Newhart show. Now in that situation, people are like, and Bob Newhart is like the calm in the center of the storm. You know, you have those shows where the person is like the calm in the center of the storm, and you can see everybody else is just like, whoo, right? But in this situation, it's beyond that, where people really are just like, it's just crazy. Where you see people who are in power who have absolutely no business being in power, where they once were like, they were cleaning out, they were like the sanitation men, and now all of a sudden they're the governor. Kemsa says, indeed, as above, so below, as within, so without. If things aren't looking good outside of us, then you must look to the universe inward and restore my aid. Yeah, see, Lola says, I feel like I'm out of alignment. See, sometimes it's because you're not supposed to be there. Sometimes it really is that there's some craziness going on. Sometimes you get people who don't really belong in those positions. Somehow no, it's not that they Forrest Gump their way into it. Sometimes it is just that there's some really radical, crazy, what's the word that I want? Foul crap going on, where people who have no qualifications whatsoever have managed to get to the top. Let me tell you something. There's a show that's called How to Succeed. Listen, I'm a theater person, okay? So forgive, I'm a theater person and I grew up on TV. So I've got a whole lot of TV and theater references and movie references, okay? There you go. Yes, like 45. Boom. Right there. Yes. Yes, Kim Sa. Yes. But there's a show called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. And it was based on a book. The book was a parody Okay? Some people thought it was real, but it was a parody about how to go from working in the mailroom to to running the company in like a week, faking your way to the top. Complete parody. This guy was in the mailroom and like buddy his way up to the top by talking pure bullcrap, learning how he learned the lingo, blase BS, and got to the top. Was running the company. Didn't know what he was doing, but knew how to charm people. Was at the right place at the right time. Knew how to just smooth things over with the right people. But what I call spinning BS. Listen, I know so many people who know how to spin BS. Okay? I've married a couple of people like that. They know how to rub themselves. They know how to rub their way in. Can you help me pull my wardrobe together? And they watch. They're quiet. They don't open their mouths until they learn the lingo. They watch the lay of the land. They know how to what's the term I want? But then they charm the pants off you almost, Yeah. Next thing you know, they've got this going for them. This. They know how to help people to get them what they want. In a short time, they go from nobody knowing who the heck they are to all of a sudden, in a short time, they've got all this power. No experience. But they watch, they rub the right elbows. Have a long-term conversation with them. Y'all watch a lot of them on YouTube. Follow them on social media. I always tell people, have a long-term conversation with them. Find out how much they really know. And see, then they'll pull people in like them. They will not pull anybody in who knows more than they do. They will rub elbows with people like that. They will use them for as long as they can and then discard them. And then then will come the next round of people who will know maybe some more, enough to get them where they need to go, and then discard them on to the next one, okay? But that's how they operate. You get a government like that with people who know only just enough. Okay? They've gotten the government, the big government checks. You get entire governments like that. And they're terrified of being found out. The last thing they want is to have somebody who's more educated, who's got a bigger vocabulary, and usually they will sleep their way to the top. Yes, they will. Here's what it says here. Now here, the term the pere, that's a term for that's a general term that was used back then at that time frame, talking about the god. Pere, like pere, okay? All right. As it is discussed here, when Aung Shanti is pondering what the heck happened. I don't understand. How did I get here? And what's going on? What is going on here? What happened to me? Okay. So finally, he says, mistreatment and misery, my great Lord Pere, imprisonment, mistreatment, what is done to me in return for not having killed a man, because he made a decision not to kill somebody. It was somebody who had betrayed him, I believe, and so he was like, all right, I'm just gonna let this go. but it turned out to be his downfall. He said, "What you despise, my great Lord, is this not how Pere is angry with the land? O you people who shall not find these potsherds, hear from me how Pere is angry with a land. When Pere is angry with a land, its ruler neglects the law. When Pere is angry with a land, he makes law cease in it. When Pere is angry with a land, he makes sanctity cease in it. When Pere is angry with a land, he makes justice cease in it. When Pere is angry with a land, he makes value scarce in it. When Pere is angry with a land, he does not let one be trusting in it. When Pere is angry with a land, he does not let one receive ransom in it. When Pere is angry with a land, he makes great its humble people and humbles its great people. When Pere is angry with a land, he sets the fool over the wise. When Pere is angry with a land, he orders its rulers to mistreat its people. When Pere is angry with a land, he appoints its scribe to rule it. When Pere is angry with a land, he appoints its washerman as chief of police. He goes on, and he's trying to figure out. And see, all of this happened because, see, he says, here's why. And he basically says, because, you see, the righteous became neglectful. He says, serve your God that he may guard you. Serve your brothers that he may have good repute. Serve a wise man that he may serve you. Serve him who serves you. Serve any man that he may find profit. Serve your father and mother that you may go and prosper. Examine every matter that you may understand it. Be gentle and patient, then your heart will be beautiful. It is in maturity that instruction succeeds. And he goes on and on and on. Do not abuse when you fare well. Do not abuse when you fare well. See, again, he is basically saying, I got sloppy. I got sloppy. Do not abuse when you fare well. He goes on and on. Now let's go over to what happened to Setne. What happened to him? He got sloppy. He got sloppy. Just like with non-nefer kapita. He got sloppy. They both got sloppy. They were doing just fine. Here you have Setne. He's a prince. He's the son of a pharaoh. Well, of an Asu. Did you have enough? You're going to pull a priestess out of line. She's going into a temple to pray. Got sloppy. Then, in order to get some, he's willing to sign over everything he has. Because she's basically like, okay, you're going to be a fool? I'm really going to make a fool out of you because you took me out of my temple. Talking about you want some, you're going to insult me in order to get some. Okay, I'm going to make you really see how stupid you are. Okay? He probably just figured, okay, she's asking me to sign over everything I have. I'm a son of a prince. I get more. Then made him sign a paper saying, listen, I don't want your kids to be alive. He probably figured, I can make more kids. He took it for granted. Where should he have been? Sudaru says, happened to me too. Was living great, then got sloppy, fell hard. Yeah, got sloppy, yeah, see? Thank you for sharing that. Beathina says, I created a piece a while back. Had a similar theme in it. Yeah, see? Yeah. We take, yeah, see? I bet it was a great piece. See, when you get sloppy, when you neglect what you have, when you neglect the blessings that you have, and you find yourself in the wrong place. I was dating this brother, and I remember standing. First of all, I was in this city where I came back to, and I was like, I said I would never come back here. And I'm standing outside of this building, and I was just like, why am I here? And I remember the drunken superintendent was sitting in a car watching me. He rolls down the window. He's watching me because it was quite obvious that I didn't belong there. But he was prejudiced, right? Because to him I was the wrong color. He was like, "Why are you here? I guarantee you're in the wrong place." I'm thinking, first of all, Nunya, okay? Hey, cuz, how you doing? It's good to see you. I gotta call you probably tomorrow. I'm thinking, ain't none of your business who I'm here to see, you know? Drunken, the next time I was there, he was standing next to me, gave me the once over. Still drunk. Why are you here? I guarantee you're in the wrong place. Then he remembered. He's like, oh, that's right. You're here to see so and so. But still, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe I am in the wrong place. Turned out I was in the wrong place because that relationship went south. Okay, I mean. Okay. Sometimes, listen. Sometimes you need to listen to the drunken super, okay? The universe will tell you when you're in the wrong place. What'd you go back there for? Satney was in the wrong place. He should have been home taking care of his children. You know? He ended up having his children. This priestess have the children killed and thrown outside to the dogs and cats to be eaten. So he could get some. The universe will tell you when you're in the wrong place. Oliver Wendell Douglas. He out there trying to be a farmer. Still wearing his suit. Still out there with a vest and a tie on trying to farm. What you doing? Shoot, his wife knew I don't belong here. She's in their farmhouse. The door never worked. The handyman, they couldn't fix nothing. All right. She still got all her glamour stuff on, wearing her little mule pumps and everything, Darling, blah, 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 blah. She wanted to go back to her, what was it? How'd that thing go? New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. Yeah, she was like, I don't belong here. I will never forget that retreat that I was on. I keep telling this story. There was this woman. She's my friend to this day. Her name was like a variation of Elaine, like mine. Okay, and we bonded like this. It was her first retreat. This chick knew she was not retreat material. She came out looking like Ava Gabor. We were both staying in the same like extended cabin. There was a special cabin for those of us who were like, like the guests. Like I was a headliner, right? And but she was just not. She wasn't staying in no daggone tent, okay? And this, she came outside with her mules on and with her like her fancy silken robes and stuff. She came outside wiping her eyes. It was everybody was already at the mess hall and everything like that. And it was like 1 o'clock. She missed breakfast, right? She's wiping her eyes, talking about, oh God, oh my God. I was like, I like this chick. We hit it off like this. She knew she was in the wrong place. She said, oh my God, this is my first time going on a retreat. I just figured I would try it. Satney was just in the wrong place. And see, when you know you're in the wrong place, that's when you need to have a talk with yourself. See, and when you're talking to yourself, that's when you truly are having a dialogue with your soul. You are. Because your soul is yourself. Those times, you may be sitting out in your car, say you run out of gas, and you're sitting there going, I knew when I passed that last gas station, why didn't I get gas? So those times when you're asking yourself, why didn't I do such and such? Why did I marry that man? Everything told me not to marry that man. Those times when you're like, why? Why did I make friends with this person? This person's driving me crazy. Why? Why? Now I don't know how to get rid of this person. Why? Why did I spend money on that outfit? Now I messed up a bank account. Those times you do like the things that you like, like they're dumb. Or the times where you're just like in a quandary about something. I don't know what to do. I just don't. There's times where you're like really depressed. And all you can do is just sit there. What do I do? There's times where you just feel it in your gut. And let me tell you something. It's said that your soul resides like somewhere around the area of your solar plexus. And it makes sense because that's where your will sits. And here is where, when you do like this to represent the Ka, the spirit, is where, this is where the essence of the part of you that funnels you back up to the Most High, okay? The purest part of yourself. So here, this is the connection point here of where your will is and where you either fight because you're trying to surrender. You're trying to fight your ego, but also you're trying to surrender to the divine. And where you're feeling in the pit, the core part of yourself. You want to surrender, but then at the same time, you're afraid because you're trying to protect that vulnerable part of yourself, and your soul protects you, okay? Your higher part of your soul, okay? The higher part of your soul, that highly developed part of your soul. And the goal is to have the higher part of yourself to be developed, okay? Not that jackass part of you. Not that jackass part of you that is all that just wants to always just be free. You know, our society now has gotten us to this whole hippie place where we just want to be free all the time. Well, I don't feel like doing this. I just want to be free. I just want, me, Miss Free Spirit. I just want to do what I want to do. I want to be free. No, see, when you get older, you don't want to be like that all the time. When you get older, you want to be you want to be patched into that higher part of yourself. All right. You know why? Because you start knocking on the older party. The older party, you realize that you ain't got too much longer to be here. And you start wondering what's going to happen when you leave here. Like I was having this conversation with my friend yesterday, and I was telling her, this is probably going to sound loony, but I truly wonder what happens if I don't wake up, and what people are going to think of me when they walk into, if I should die in my sleep, and what they're going to think when they see my apartment, when they see my house, based on what's here and how it is. And she said, I do too. I said, I'm not alone. She said, yo, no, because we're on the other side of 60. You know what I mean? She said, I do too. And, and also this week I had this experience of going into this elder's house who passed away 2 weeks ago. I was invited to go in, and, because he has a lot of African artifacts. And all I wanted was a jabiru bird. That's all I wanted. I was praying for that, because of our discussion last week about the jabiru bird and protecting the soul. And I really wanted one. I looked at my altar space, and I said, I got a spot for a jabiru bird right there. I don't know where I'm going to get one from, but I put it out there. I need a jabiru bird for my high altar. I got a call. And, he had a lot of things. And I said, all I want is I just want a statue of a jabiru bird. I don't know if one exists, but I'm putting it out there. He had one. He did. Who knew? He had a lot of stuff. And I did leave with a very strong impression of who he was. I'm sure he didn't want people to know a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm very sure. It just reinforced what I was thinking. Listen, I double clean my apartment. I already sweep my floor a couple times a day if I can. It's been a little hard with my leg being messed up, but I'm here sweeping my little hop sweep, But you think of these things, right? But he had a jabiru bird. It was sitting on the shelf just waiting for me. But the whole thing with the soul and how you process things and how you want to protect yourself and being having a highly developed soul, and spirit, and just wanting to be right, and now I don't mean like right, like righteous. I mean just wanting to make sure that you are living out the legacy that you came here for, because your soul comes here with a mission. You have a certain personality, yes. You have information you're supposed to collect, yes. And you're supposed to learn things, and yet, you're supposed to have fun, yeah. You're supposed to have a joy in life, and yes, we experience sorrow, and yes, we feel it. We feel it in the soul. That's why we feel it right in the gut, you feel that sorrow just right, really in the lower eritu. You really, really feel it. And yes, in your heart, okay? So with this here, the soul feels it, especially within the heart, within the area of the will, the solar plexus. You feel it in the sunkti, within the musakrer, and then also you have the root going on, rud, how you're rooted, And it can make it very hard because your ego, your personality, your vulnerability can make it very hard to let go of some things, because when you're talking about the higher developed soul and the higher developed spirit, that means you got to trust. You got to let go of some stuff. It's hard. It's hard because it's a whole other level of learning, and that's faith. That's nekti. And that means as you're older, you got to be willing to let that go and to take on that level of learning. So, and with Setne, he does all this foolishness. He was probably going through a midlife crisis. You know, and to be frank, I know with men, women go through their levels too. You know, I mean, with some women, and with me, I've never been tied into that whole sexual thing. You know, I've got, you know, oh, I was hot, and oh, I gotta see if I still got it and all that. I was never really into that stuff, but really, you know. And set intimacy to me was spiritual. You know, so if I didn't have partners that were at that level, you know, um, and I should also let you know, as I'm looking at um, my shashaut, my prayer beads, that doing dialogue with the soul, if you're trying to get back in touch with a certain, if you know, feeling with your soul, and you need to kind of really tap in, you take your shashaut, and you know, you say, um, you say, bani, you know, jadi bani, you know, my soul speak to me, jadi bani, jadi bani, jadi bani, jadi bani. Go to every single one. Just find yourself a comfortable place to just sit and just meditate with them, and it allows you to just drop into this space. You know, tell your soul, speak to me, jadi bani, speak to me, soul. You know, speak to me, soul, and then you'll find that you'll relax enough to actually let your soul will start speaking to you. The higher part of your soul will start speaking to you, and will start reassuring you of where you're supposed to be and who you're supposed to be. Because sometimes we can forget. We can get caught up in all these different things about who we think we're supposed to be, and have other people trying to program into us who we're supposed to be. Because here's another thing. Let me just tell you this really quickly before I go further with the lesson. Because you can really find yourself. You can be so happy, just like with Nanda Kapita. He was happy. He was cool, going around and reading the different inscriptions on the walls on the tombs. And then here comes this high priest who is resentful of the fact that he's happy and completely wrecks his game. You know, you can have people who are resentful of your happiness and then come and mess it up. And now all of a sudden your game is blown. Your peace is gone because of their jealousy. Remember, one of the readings that we got for this year also is jealousy. People who are jealous because you're happy, and they're going to take you down. I'm miserable. You ain't going to be happy. I want to take you down with me. That's disgusting. People who will ruin the innocence of your soul because you have found peace within it. I've talked about this before. People will do that to children. They will ruin the innocence of children, molesting them, teaching them all kinds of disgusting things. Do you know I had a discussion with an elder in 2014 where he was trying to justify going to go-go bars dressed in African garb, where they were dropping off underage girls? and saying, oh, they want to be there, and saying that it was okay that he was an African guard because he was having conscious conversations with young brothers. People use all kinds of things to justify the fact that they have been ruined, that their souls have been ruined. And instead of working on cleaning up their lives and their souls, they will just go ahead and ruin other people. What do you think those young girls who needed rescuing thought, seeing this dirty old man in African garb? Yeah, sick. So look at Setne. Let his children, wait, should have been home with his children. Had no business trying to go after a priestess who was going in to pray in a Ptah temple. Ptah represents family stability, the backbone of a family. You're trying to get a piece from a woman going in to pray, whose father was the prophet of Bast, who also represents home and hearth. Wrong place, wrong place. In the book of the Dialogue with the Soul, it says, I spoke to my soul that I might answer what is said. To whom shall I speak today? Brothers and sisters are evil, and friends today are not worth loving. Hearts are great with greed, and everyone seizes his or her neighbor's goods. Kindness has passed away, and violence is imposed on everyone. To whom shall I speak today? People willingly accept evil, and goodness is cast to the ground everywhere. Those who should enrage people by their wrongdoing make them laugh at their evil deeds. People plunder, and everyone seizes his or her neighbor's goods. To whom shall I speak today? The one doing wrong is an intimate friend, and the brother with whom one used to deal is an enemy. No one remembers the past, and none return the good deed that is done. Brothers and sisters are evil, and people turn to strangers for righteousness or affection. To whom shall I speak today? Faces are empty, and all turn their faces from their brothers and sisters. Hearts are great with greed, and there is no heart of a man or woman upon which one might lean. None are just or righteous, and the land is left to the doers of evil. To whom shall I speak today? There are no intimate friends, and the people turn to strangers to tell their troubles. None are content, and those with whom one used to walk no longer exist. I am burdened with grief and have no one to comfort me. There is no end to the wrong which roams the earth. Thus, death to me today is like health to the ill, like going outdoors after confinement. Death to me today is like the smell of myrrh, like sitting under the sail on a windy day. Death to me today is like the fragrance of lotus, like sitting on the shore of feasting. Death to me today is like a well trodden way, like returning home from war. Death to me today is like the clearing up of clouds from the sky, like a person discovering that which was unknown. Death to me today is like longing to see home after spending many years in captivity. Surely one who reaches the beyond will be a living God, punishing the offenses of the wrongdoer. Surely one who reaches the beyond will be one who stands in the sunbark of Re, causing abundant gifts to be given to the temples. Surely one who reaches the beyond will be considered wise and will not be prevented from appealing to Re when he or she speaks. And my soul said to me, cast your complaints aside, my comrade and brother. Make offerings upon the sacrificial fire and cling to life as I have said. Love me, your soul, here. Set your complaints of death. Set aside your complaints of death and desire death only when your body joins the earth. Then I will alight on you after you have become truly weary, and we shall dwell together forever. When you come to the place where you feel like you don't want to be here anymore, usually it's because you're in the wrong place, either emotionally, or you're with the wrong people, or you're on the wrong path. You may be in the wrong city. You may be in the wrong neighborhood. Maybe it's that you haven't discovered your path yet. Maybe it's that you've gotten so far off of your path that you have forgotten who you are. In those cases, you need to have a dialogue with your soul. In those cases, in the book of Amen Emapet, it always talks about having a dialogue with your God. And always remember, you're here for a reason. You are here for a reason. I had a long conversation with my therapist. I love my therapist. I had a situation where it was very clear I was in the wrong place. I was in a situation with this group, and something happened, and I told her about it. I was telling her, and something happened, and it was so funny because she was writing something down. And in this situation, I got thrown under the bus, right? And she's writing. All of a sudden, she just went like that. And then she went, what? At that point, she said, okay, so at this point, we need to start talking about your exit plan. Okay? She has never been that frank with me before. Usually it is, okay, so we'll discuss some options. At this point, it was just like, oh no, you got to go. Okay? It was a very clear-cut thing. It's time to go. And I said, yes. Because clearly it was a situation where it was like, you are in the wrong place. And considering all of this week, where it was one thing after another, time to cut this, time to cut this, time to cut this. And when you recognize where growth is coming. And when it's time to cut the cords, no more Oz, no more Hooterville. Okay. Yes. Different situations, opening up for growth and feeling so good about it. And having that dialogue with the soul, as I've been doing all week. Give thanks. And just like that Jabiru bird just sitting right there, clear cut sign. You got to know when it's time to go. Okay? I'm so grateful. So grateful. And just like I'm on the website this morning, yeah, it's time for changing this, time for changing this, time to cut this, time for redirection, because we're a water temple. Temple. Yes. And that means constant cleansing. It is about constant cleansing of the soul. Back in Kemet, it was clear. This is the way that it is. Constant cleansing. And just like it says in the book of Harjadef, about cleaning up your own life in your own eyes. And a big part of that is knowing where you are and understanding if you are in the right place. And knowing that taking responsibility. Teni. Responsibility and accountability. Okay? Setne was so far. What was he doing in the tombs of Nanefer Kapita, trying to find this magic book? And then getting warned by two ghosts. Don't do this. You're in the wrong place. How many of you have experienced that? You've been warned, and then you go and you do it anyway. Why are you here? You're in the wrong place. Yes, Cannabis Maximus, evolve. And just like I had to go back down the basement, okay, that stuff got spared. But then I had to just stop and think, do I even need all that stuff in the basement? I don't need those collectible dolls. I can sell some of them. Okay, yeah. But others are tied to some emotional issues from my childhood where, I'm over that. I'm over it. Some stuff that I've healed from now. You can let it go. Let it go. Maybe it'll make some children happy. Maybe, Beathena says, I seek out being in the right place. Yes. And I also prayed for a new arts community. It's happening. Yeah. And also and even for and for reconnecting with some of the beautiful artists who I know, and that's been happening. There were some folks I've been cut off from who I am reconnecting with. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And also for the continued evolution of Shanu, give thanks and praise, give thanks and praise, give thanks and praise. We are a Kemetic water temple, ashram, this place of being able to land, cleanse yourself, get restoration, and continuing to grow. Oh, yes, the cleansing, the rebirthing, and oh, wow. This has been a really beautiful week that I've spent in this sacred space as the Necharu have continued to just open themselves to me in new ways that I'm so grateful for. And oh, wow. Oh, yeah. So, Brandon, how are you? just like a child, they don't understand. No, it's until it's too late, right? And then they come, and then here comes the what is that? Here comes the Chris. What is that? What is that? Give thanks and praise. And then somebody, I have somebody who is a soul connection who always bounces back into my life just at the right time. Because we have that soul thing going on. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, and give thanks. Duau bait, give thanks for being on the shelf when I asked for it. Wow. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Mm. Oh, divine limitless creator. Thank you so much for the lessons and the blessings. Continue to open our souls to growth as we ascend to higher heights and truly deeper depths. And I am so just grateful, 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 grateful. And for the growing pains that I went through, and that and the light and the love and the water continue to just open us and protect us. And just thank you. Thank you for your love, your patience, and for your faithfulness. Tuau, tuau, tuau. Amen, amen. All right, let us move into our Huey Cadest. Any questions? Tuau. Kim Sa says, another lesson I took from this is empty your cup. Yes, you have to empty your cup, because how are you gonna get renewal if your cup is always full? Got a bunch of old stuff in there that's festering. You can't sitting there with some mold on it. You can't can't get some beautiful new liquid refreshment. Give thanks. All right. Dua. Give thanks and praise. The sacred supper of Huit Karest, known today as Eucharist, was created in ancient Kemet. By the way, I just want to let you know before I go any further, I fixed the water prayer page. I forgot to save it and refresh it. So please forgive me. I actually did take the time to fix it. I'm reading, I'm like, daggone it, I forgot to. So I will do that after I get off, just so you know. Okay. It'll be in the new book too. The Sacred Supper of Huit Karest, known today as Eucharist, was created in ancient Kemet. The priests and priestesses of Osset honored the resurrection of King Wasir and the resurrection of life. We all face personal levels of resurrection daily. As we learn the lessons of this life, we strive to grow, leave behind the old and unnecessary habits and behaviors, and move forward into higher consciousness. The blood that flows through our veins is of our ancestors. Huit represents the DNA, the ancestral blood that reaches back into the beginning of time. In African culture, we refer to the river of ancestors. We refer to the river of ancestors. The blood or senef of our ancestors flows through each of us, as our blood will flow through future generations. It is an endless stream. As we call upon the light and wisdom of our ancestors, of our high ancestors, or Yaku, our blood becomes purified. As such, we are mindful of giving respect, Shaisha, to Senef, the blood. When we become spiritually awakened, we take our places within the awakened body of consciousness, Christ consciousness, Kerest consciousness. Kerest means the mummified remains or body wrapped in swaddling strips. Death to the old, yet spirit lives on. It has victory over death. We, in our spiritual growth, have victory over death and in life, as we put emphasis on spirit. and are not stuck in matters of the flesh and mundane. The bread, te, symbolizes the body, or kerest. Please hold up the bread and repeat after me. Necheru, bless this bread of life. Semek necheru, mishet ankpen. I am the bread of life. Anuk mishet ank. I am the body of awakened consciousness. Anuk kerest. My body is sacred. Kati jaser. My spirit is of Nichir. Kani Nichir. Thank you, Nichir. Dwa Nichir. Unim. Eat. Please hold up your cup and repeat after me. Necheru, bless this blood of life. Semek Necheru, Mishet. Sorry. Semek Necheru, Senef Ankpen. My blood flows from the river of ancestors. Senefi Sef Ni Im Imakhu. Webi, purify me. Thank you, Nichir. Dwa Nichir. Baba, drink. Please hold up your cup. This cup is also you. It is a sacred chalice. You, like the cup, are a sacred vessel. Be mindful of what you fill your life with. Your life is sacred. Repeat after me. Anuk Imakhu. I am a sacred vessel. My life is sacred. Anki Jaser. Amen. 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 That concludes our ceremony for today. If you'd like more information, then please visit our website, which I've also streamlined today, at www.shanuashram.org. You visit my website at myimakhu.info. My Cash App is $, Elaine, Lloyd, Sario, spelled it. And my PayPal is Imakhu at .com. And I keep forgetting what my I'm on I am on my Venmo is, I think it's Elaine L Nazario. Keep forgetting. Hold on. Uh, all these messages coming through. The heck is it? I'm on here. You can reach out to me to find out. Okay. And so, all right. And if you'd like to book me for performances, then please reach out. Also, listen, I'm taking sponsorships for my my newly formed companies, and they are performing arts companies, of course. Um, so I've got some really wonderful things on the books for those, and I'll be announcing them very soon. I'm so excited. We've got some wonderful things coming up for this month and next month, and also for the year. So I'm really excited. Give thanks and praise. Thank you all for the lovely compliments. Thank you, Atef. Thank you, Sutheru. Oh, give thanks. I'm so grateful. So, in closing, let me say, Meria, which means much love. Heri, which means be at peace. Um, Jebewi, which means to be merciful. Remember to be merciful in the appropriate way towards yourself. And also, Teni, which means to be accountable. And then also, Musarit, which means to be empowered, doubly empowered in the energy of my AT. And that is with harmony, reciprocity, balance, justice, and higher love. Um, Listen, I was talking about sponsorship. If you'd like to be a sponsor of my company, which is Ashe Cultural Arts and Film Institute, then I welcome that because I've got programs coming up and sponsorship is, again, greatly welcome. And I love all of you so very much. Thank you for being here. And you all have a really wonderful, wonderful, excellent day. Okay? Stay blessed. I never put my, oh, hold it. Put some bass music on. Put some music on with bass. I never put the bass back on, okay? But I think we got through it without the bass. Put on stuff that's some really good, soulful music. I love Maxwell. Have a great day.